the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they really love, and create actual amazing relationships. We're so glad you're with us, America. George Camel, Ramsey personality and co-host of the ever-popular Smart Money Happy Hour with Rachel Cruz, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. And big announcement day. George, it's here. You're doing it.
It's National Hug Your Dog Day. That's right, Dave. It's a real thing. You can't make that up. But in bigger news, today we launched the George Camel YouTube channel for the first time in history.
Camel with a K.
That's right. And this is big. We've been working on this now for a year or two. I've done previous podcasts here like Borrowed Future and Fine Print and Smart Money Happy Hour. And we've kind of combined them all into this new YouTube channel where we expose the toxic system. It's eye-opening. It's informative. It's funny. It's snarky.
It's, above all, snarky.
Very snarky.
The snarky is...
It's on brand for me.
It's like a spiritual gift for you.
Thank you.
I mean, it's fabulous snark.
Tell that to my wife.
Absolute fabulous snark.
So we are having a blast with this. The first video launched today on how I bought a house with no credit score. And the reason we launched this, Dave, is there's so many creators out there on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram Reels, and they're peddling financial crap to our listeners, our audience, and they're sending me messages going, is this real?
To
Should
all
I
of
believe
America.
this?
To all of America.
Yeah.
That you have to go get a credit card to get a credit score to get a mortgage, for instance. Or you know, there are actually people that think that SoFi is good for you, but it actually causes a kind of an allergy if you hadn't noticed.
That's it right there. Get some Claritin for Dave every time he has to mention that company. And you know this, Dave. I had fallen for every trend and trap when I first started here back in 2013. I was $40,000 in debt, and I went from negative net worth to baby steps millionaire in under a decade following our proven plan. And so now I'm just screaming from the rooftops going, guys, don't listen to the get rich quick, the crypto bros. Don't listen to the whole life insurance people, the zero down real estate folks. There's a simple way to build wealth where you have freedom and peace and joy in your life.
Well, we've decided with stuff like TikTok and YouTube that we either are going to fill up those spaces with the correct information or just tolerate that the BS will continue there. And so what we're going to do is try to put so much good, real, helpful information out there that is not trying to get rich quick off of you, that it fills up the space.
It displaces all the filth.
And there's just no room in your social media day for any more TikTok warlords of crypto.
That's a good way to put it.
The crypto warlords.
And there's so much...
Which are kind of teeny and small right now. There's not much left of them.
No. They've dissipated, Dave. They got real quiet.
Kind of shrunk down to, honey, I shrunk the crypto bros.
They've been real quiet since the crash, weirdly. Yes. And so have the celebrities that have been peddling it. So we break down all the complex topics. We make it simple. We bust money myths with actual facts. We take all the boring financial stuff that's important and we make it fun. And that's the whole goal of this channel, is just to intersect into that world of YouTube. And we built a set downstairs that's really cool. We're having a great time with it. And so everyone can go check out the very first video right now on the George Camel YouTube channel. Check that out. Dave won't mind if you leave the show right now. He's got enough views here. We need you guys over there.
Hey.
You're doing fine. This is
We're doing fine. You're the co-host.
You're right. I apologize. Keep watching the show. You'll have plenty of time to watch it later.
Make a note when you finish here. You should go to George Camel with a K on YouTube and see his new YouTube, brought to you by Ramsey Networks. So
Thank you,
It's not
Dave.
really a net loss if they leave here and go there, but they should do both.
That's right.
Okay.
They'll both be here. It's on demand. We live in a world where you can get it anytime.
Yeah, it turns out YouTube is there for a while. Anyway, that's how it works, folks. Think it's going to be great. You're going to love it. I've seen a bunch of the episodes so far that we already have got in the can, and the Ramsey Networks team has made the best of George's world-class snark and taking down some of the big liars. The liars that
There's
are out
so
there.
many out there, Dave.
Yeah,
it grinds your gears and it grinds mine too. I'm sick of it.
I'm just kind of mean, but you're kind of funny at it.
We have a different bone.
I've just lost patience for these crooks, but you're kind of funny about it, and so it kind of destroys them in a different way.
That's my version of I'm not big enough to bully people, so I have to get at them with verbal abuse, Dave. That's how you crack them. So you get them to shut up.
All right. Cynthia's with us in Minneapolis to start this hour off. Hey, Cynthia, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. How can we help?
I'm calling. So when my children were born, I wanted to help them out and me. So I bought life insurance. And I was looking through them just recently, and I found out that it was whole life insurance.
Oh, my.
And I pay for them yearly.
Oh, my.
And it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but I didn't know what I should do with it currently, if it was just best to surrender it now or what to do, wait till they're 20 to surrender it.
I would surrender it. Don't you love that terminology, by the way, of surrender? Like you've lost a battle with these whole life people. Yeah, the truth is, Cynthia, you were sold on this lie that you need life insurance for your kids, but the only reason for life insurance is to replace your income. So unless those kids are providing an income that you need, you can get rid of that.
And you were sold it not as that, but as an investment. And as an investment, it sucks. S-U-C-K, sucks. It's bad. It's really bad. They're not going to make it out of the driveway with the money you make there, much less all the way over to the college campus.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So what we'll do is repurpose the money in your budget once you cancel this crap to making sure, A, that you have the right amount of term insurance on you and your husband, and so if something happened to you, that the kids are provided for. And B, if we're going to invest for the kids, let's invest in like a real investment, like mutual funds and a 529, and that would be at baby step 5. And get in touch with one of our SmartVestor pros at RamseySolutions.com if you haven't done that or if you don't have an investment advisor. But the 529 is going to be a much more efficient process.
And that whole life is such a trap. And the fact that it's sold to parents as an investment for your kids just makes me even more angry.
Oh, it's just,
and there's a sunk cost because you've been paying into it.
Yeah, it's just gone.
And you go, well, we've already paid so much. Should we just keep it?
George, when you're doing all this snarky stuff on your new YouTube channel, please point out the fact that if you will take half a moment and think about where the company is coming from, meaning who they are that's coming at you, and you'll go, oh, what environment is this in? Because it kind of, here's the point, okay? Gerber, baby food company, sells Gerber whole life policies to send your kid to college.
Oh, boy.
Now, it's kind of a Jeff Foxworthy joke, right? You might be broke, you might be stupid if you buy your investments from a baby food company. Same kind of thing. If your investment is advertised on a cable TV station where they also sell Snuggies and walk-in bathtubs, then maybe your investment sucks. It might be, that kind of stuff. The environment, the company, the background should give you a little bit of a clue sometimes. Not her, but just in general.
Yes. Just think about it for a second.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget.
Thanks for joining us, America. George Camel with a K, Ramsey personality, host of the brand new YouTube channel by the same name, launched today, is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show. Our question of the day is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services after fires or floods. Their Rainbow Restoration Pros offer homeowners trusted, full-service restoration expertise like mold remediation, carpet cleaning, odor removal, and more. Visit neighborly.com today to find Rainbow Restoration Services in your area.
Today's question comes from Caleb in Georgia. What do you think about the new FedNow and centralized banking that's soon happening in the U.S.? What I commonly see is that they're gunning to take away cash, which goes against a lot of what your programs are for. Please correct me where I'm wrong. I'm still learning more about it, but I'm curious to see what you have to say.
Well, the Fed has announced this, and there are really two components of it that matter. The first one is that they're going to modernize an antiquated banking system. Today, when you, for instance, deposit a check, it takes 3 to 10 days for that check to clear the other bank. In a digital world, that should take 3 to 10 seconds for your check to be bouncing or good. When I put your check in my account or vice versa, or I make a transfer to your account, it shouldn't have to sit there 3 days to be verified. It ought to be able to just reach over to the other bank, find out if you've got some freaking money in there, and take it out and move it over to your bank. That's how a check's supposed to work. And that system is operating like the 1930s right now, and they're trying to move it into the digital world. That is, as far as I can tell, 100% positive, what I understand of it. The second piece is they're talking about issuing digital dollars, which they already do, so I don't understand. I mean, they're not saying they're going to do away with cash. They're saying they're going to offer digital dollars. Well, let me help you, George. When we move money from your account to my account, and you don't use actual physical dollars to go to the branch and make a deposit, you have, by definition, moved digital dollars, baby. That's what they are.
Yeah, most transactions in today's world are digital.
Like 98% are digital. They're not cash transactions.
They're not actually shipping boatloads of hard cash to other banks.
There's a whole lot more money in our economy with digital transfers flowing around, currency, it as a current, than cash. And they're not talking about doing away with cash in this proposal. Nothing I've read anywhere, except maybe some dark web conspiracy theories, say they're trying to do away with cash. Now, the downside is if they actually issue a template, which is what they're talking about doing, it's almost a crypto of sorts of the dollar, is what it amounts to. They're going to issue you a digital transaction that's different than the digital transactions that we do now. The downside is, the fear is that they'll start controlling those digital
more government overreach.
Yeah.
That's the worry.
Exactly. Like ESG, for instance, they're going to try to say, okay, if you're not going to be woke, you're not going to be able to use your digital dollars. Or if we wanted to ration gasoline, you're not going to be able to use your digital dollars, but you can only use 50 digital dollars to buy gas, and then you have to come up with other dollars of your own. Black market dollars. No, it's not how it works, okay? But that's the fear that's out there. DeSantis and Kennedy both came out against this on the basis that the central bank could overreach their use of this as control. And if they try to use it for ESG stuff, I would agree. If they're trying to control currency and trying to invoke some kind of power over it, I think that would be a problem. But I won't have all of my money in their digital dollars. I'll just have it in digits in my account.
And they're not going to force people to use these digital dollars.
They couldn't. It's the conversion to that would require a complete overhaul of the way we do everything in our economy.
Nightmare.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
If you went from let's say you had to have a certified number to move money to Venmo, or to just to reach over and move money from your savings into your checking so you could cover your Pizza Hut bill, right? Or whatever it is. This would be, the number of transactions this would involve would be so large that for government to get their arms around it and control it, I don't think it would be possible on scale. I mean, it would have to be some kind of real fascism, which honestly, some of the ESG stuff approaches fascism at times, because they've got this.
Well, they're assigning values to your money.
They're like religious zealots, in a sense, to push their agendas, and they'll stop at nothing to do that. But and that's, of course, DeSantis and Kennedy's argument is to keep the central bank, not their job to invoke social change. Their job is to run the banking system.
You stay in your lane, let them stay in theirs.
And as long as they do that, no harm, no foul with any of this. Now, to the extent that they might do that with the digital dollars, it could become hairy, and it's a whole new place you could get canceled if you didn't meet the
there'd be a revolt.
You didn't meet the woke criteria or whatever, right? And so that would be a problem if your dollars freaking got canceled. That's a whole different thing. So if that got to that point, then I think long before then we would have fired a bunch of people. And Americans just don't tolerate being controlled for very long, with rare exceptions.
We're stubborn like that.
With rare exceptions. Sometimes we're sheeple, and we all go into our houses for 90 days and wait on a virus to pass. But other than that, we very seldom are controlled. Most of the time, we don't do what we're told. And so, which is good. Even if you disagree with me, you shouldn't have to do what you're told. That's called like freedom and stuff. So anyway, that's the downside of this thing that everybody's moaning about.
But the implications are, I'm not losing sleep over this. I'm not going to bed worried at night about what if centralized banking and digital dollars and cashless society. This usually turns into fear-mongering from the media and paranoia.
Here's the weird thing. The faster you can transfer funds, the more freedom you have. The more robust an economy is, the more freedom you have. The easier you can do a transaction, the more transactions occur, the more prosperity you can endure, and the more freedom you have. So the first part of this discussion, this ease of transfer and the shortening of the hold periods and all that, because they're updating the antiquated system, is going to add way more freedoms than the little corner of the digital dollars might try to take away. So the net on it, I think, is going to be extremely positive. Although I'm not a big fan of the Fed, and I'm not a defender of the Fed, I'm certainly, for you bozos on Twitter, not a shill of the Fed, just to let you know. But matter of fact, I think some of the stuff they're doing with interest rates is some of the most asinine anti-economic, anti-capitalism stuff I've ever seen in my life right now. Complete freaking morons. So there's the other side of the equation, right?
If you were confused, now he's been clear.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, so overall, this is good. Overall, this is good. It's I think it's going to help. And here's an interesting thing we can kind of parlay into this too. I think what I said a few minutes ago might be the most important part of our little discussion on this, I think. It's not the individual pieces of this Fed now thing. The thing you need to remember is where there is no prosperity, where there is extreme poverty, where economics are hard to create, where it's hard to start and run a business, where it's hard to transact, where everything's clamped down, where there's poverty. Poverty follows a lack of economic opportunity, not the other way around. Poverty is the result of economies that are choked down, where freedom is not. So if you want less poverty, statistically and historically, if you'll study the economies of the world, if you want less poverty, increase freedom, increase ease of transactions, increase ease of starting, and less regulation on a business. Let people go and do what people do. Jefferson said capitalism is what happens when you leave people alone.
Amen.
And that when you do that, nations rise up out of poverty. Why do you think the poverty level in the U.S. is so much lower than it is in developing countries? Freedom. That's why.
Land of opportunity.
Freedom matters economically. This is The Ramsey Show. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions of your life. You need a partner like Churchill Mortgage. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country, and they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Churchill works with you to build a mortgage the Ramsey way, one that doesn't bust your budget, sets you up for financial success, and helps you get out of debt faster. Go to churchillmortgage.com today and get started. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. His brand new YouTube channel dropped today. Check it out. It is Snark on steroids. You're going to love it. George Camel with a K on YouTube. Be sure you look it up. Give him a follow. So, George, the headshot we're using there looks almost like you've got highlights in your hair that you don't have.
I look like a Backstreet Boy. It's all that airbrushing they do in Photoshop to make me look human again.
Is that? Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Somebody got out of control there in creative.
Now we know what it would look like if I got highlights, so I'm going to avoid that at all costs.
I mean, you see it right there, right?
Yeah, it might be our screen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's the way the light...
It's the lighting glancing off of all your hair product is what it is.
That's what it's the pomade.
Problems I don't have.
You don't have to worry about pomade glistening?
No, I get glistening, but it's a different kind. It's just a general bulb shine.
Just a rawhide there.
Just a bulb shine. Yeah, that's it. So, hey, if you're a new listener, and we know there's a bunch of you based on our rankings and ratings that are continually going up this year, thank you. We appreciate that. If you're trying to learn the new lingo around Ramsey, like baby steps and debt snowballs and such, we'll help you for free. Go to RamseySolutions.com. You can learn a lot of stuff there, but one thing you could do is you could click the Get Started button, Get Started, and we'll help you figure out the next best step for your financial journey, exactly where you are and what you do next and why. And we'll teach you all the whys because we don't want you doing it because we said do it. We want you to do it because you understand it and you think it's smart, because of course it is. 888-825-5225. Brian, is with us. Bryn is with us. I'll get it right in a minute, in Springfield. Hey, Bryn, what's up?
Hi, I just wanted your advice on if you think that we should pay off. We have a house that has a mortgage on it, but we have renters in it right now. So I was wondering if you think we should pay it off or sell it.
Okay. Do you have a personal residence?
So we live and work on a ranch, and housing is provided here. And so as long as we stay here, we have a house. And then when this ranch sells or the owner passes away, the house that we live in is ours, free and clear.
The ranch house? Wow.
Yes. But it's a brand new home. So
nice deal. Okay. All right. And so the only debt you have in your whole life is this rental?
Yep, we did Financial Peace University when we were 23 and paid off $38,000. So we've been debt-free for 4 years.
So what part of Financial Peace University did you miss where you pay off the rental?
Well, I didn't. Yeah, it's been a minute.
So what is this rental cash flowing? Are you guys wanting to keep it long term?
I think it would be, I don't know if it's a good investment since we have a loan on it or not, but. So our mortgage is like $1,819 on it, and we rent it out for $2,200.
That feels like real tight.
So not.
Do you have the money to pay it off today?
You have money to put on it?
No, we don't have money to pay it off.
Okay, so you would pay it off. What is the question then? Whether you would pay it off gradually or whether you would just give up and sell it?
Yeah.
Okay, how much do you owe on it?
We owe $340.
And what's your household income?
$65,000 a year.
Sell it.
Sell it?
Yep. You don't have enough margin in this. Okay. You said $2,200 rent over an $1,800 payment. If you spit, you're in a negative, and you don't have the income to cover negatives. One $3,000 heating and air unit, and you're in the negative. One leaking roof. 1 month to 2 months of not being paid, and you're in the net because it's empty or because they just decide they're not going to pay you because they don't like you or there's a pandemic or whatever, and you're in the negative. You have no margin here.
Right.
This thing's rubbing up, and you don't have if you told me you made $265, you could absorb the blow of not being able to make these payments. But if you start having to make these payments out of your income, that's going to be really unfun.
Right.
Get rid of it. It's not an asset, it's a liability.
If we sell it, then what do we do with the cash?
How much cash are we talking? So you have $340 owed. What could you sell it for?
Probably $430. When I asked our real estate.
So after fees, you're probably talking 50 or 60K you'd net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't? Do you need the money for anything right now?
No.
Okay, I just invested in mutual funds.
Okay.
Yeah. Just something simple. Just keep it real simple. But I'm just scared for you. I'm afraid this is going to end up being more of a curse than a blessing. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it is over time. Because, and George, not reflecting on her, but just in general, this is the problem. We've talked about this before, that over ever so many years, the get-rich-quick real estate movement kicks up again. It's about a 7 or 8 year cycle, roughly, because you have to get the young people who don't remember how stupid it was a little bit older, so they start doing stupid stuff. And so that's what, there's a whole movement. When I was a wee child, the get-rich-quick real estate movement was some goober on midnight cable television selling get-rich tapes, sitting by the ocean. You too could sit by the ocean.
You can hear the waves.
If you were, yeah. And they got rich, but most of us went broke. The guys selling the tapes got rich, but most of us that did their stuff went broke. And then another cycle came through, and then the latest, of course, is the Tic Tac goobers in skinny jeans telling people to buy nothing down real estate. And the classic line from that bunch, whether it was 40 years ago or whether it's 40 minutes ago, is, "The renters will pay this off for you." Proof you have never. If you say that, that tells me one thing.
It's passive income, Dave.
I've owned over 2,000 pieces of real estate in my life. I've got several $100 million worth of real estate today. Okay. One thing I know for sure is if you tell me the renters are going to pay the payments for you, that tells me you've never managed rental property. That tells me you've never done it. That's 100%. You are a novice at best, an idiot at worst. And that's the truth, because anybody who's ever had a renter or been a renter, and I have both, I've been a renter too, it knows that sometimes renters don't pay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's cancer. Sometimes there's car wrecks and job loss. Sometimes there's a pandemic. Sometimes ... It's, as if there's a perfect stream of every month the rent is going to come on time or early and you can pay your stupid little payment. And that's the most ridiculous assumption, which indicates a lack of experience or knowledge of how rental property really works.
Well, they get starry-eyed by the numbers and they turn their risk meter off and just go, it'll all work out as long as it works out, until it doesn't work out.
Yeah. And if you want to go broke, don't just turn off your risk meter. Do what I did in my 20s. Take a hammer to it.
Just smash
that sucker. And because I had absolutely no perception of risk, I was 100% sure I could out-earn my stupidity. Mm. And stupidity will chase you down and run you over,
find you
like last week's cat in the road.
It's
really, it's bad. It'll get you.
Well, and you learned this the hard way, but now your advice of paying cash for investment property feels even more countercultural and controversial than it was back in the day.
Yeah, and one of the beauties of doing what I did, which is go broke, one of the beauties of going broke is you no longer care what people think. I am not trying to impress a 26-year-old on Tic Tac. You're the last person I care what they think. I'm not mad at you, but you're supposed to take my advice, not the other way around. I'm really not interested in your input, much less do I even care. So it's just real. I'm not, I know what I'm doing, and I know what's worked over 40 years, and I know how much wealth has been built because I don't have any risk. Mm. I mean, virtually no risk. Rental properties, we had all kinds of people. We had all this commercial property. We had one that was like a CrossFit type gym, a burn thing or whatever they call it, right? Well, guess what they did during the pandemic?
Shut down?
Nothing. Guess what the daycare did in one of our properties? Nothing.
Oh.
You want me to keep going? How about the dance studio for the kiddies? Nothing. Guess how much rent they could pay because they had nothing coming in. This is how life works.
And guess how much the lenders cared?
There weren't any. Oh. There were no lenders.
Oh, my gosh.
There were no lenders. So I could have all kinds of mercy, be helpful, be understanding, be demanding. I could do whatever I wanted to do. It's a different position. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey personality, co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour with Rachel Cruz, our very popular podcast and YouTube show, launches today his own YouTube channel, George Camel with a K. K Camel. Look at it. Kamel, in other words. Check it out on YouTube. He has the gift of snark, which makes him one of my favorite people on YouTube right now.
Glad you enjoy it.
It's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual gift. It's in second.
What's yours, Dave?
It's in second hesitations. Cynicism.
There we go.
There you go. All right. I got that one down. All right. Ross is with us. Not really. Ross is in Montgomery, Alabama. Hey, Ross, what's up?
Hey, but y'all, thank you for taking my call. I have a traditional IRA that I put around $260 a month in, and then I save $500 a month. And I'm renting right now, and I really want to buy a house and possibly get my roommates to pay my mortgage. So yeah, I'm just wondering, what should I do?
So what you're talking about is kind of a house hacking thing where you want to get in the house, but you charge them rent, it
Right.
covers the mortgage and more, and this is like passive income.
Right. In the house I'm renting in right now, it's there. I know the landowner pretty good, and he is willing to sell it to me, but I don't know how much he wants for it yet.
Do you have any money?
I have around $7,000 saved up.
What do you make a year?
Just got a raise, so around 32.
Mm-hmm. How old are
But
you?
I'm 1099.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay. All right. Okay. You're not quite ready to buy a house.
Okay.
Houses are a blessing if you have the wiggle room in your life for them to sit there and go up in value. They are a curse if they make you broker. That's why we call them brokers.
Mm-hmm.
You get broker and broker when you buy a house and you're not ready. So you need an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside.
Okay.
Probably your 7,000 is pretty close to that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then you need to save up a good down payment above that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to be able to pay the payment if none of your roommates pay you,
Right.
because that could happen.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And sometimes does happen. So yeah, that's the, and it sounds to me like that, the idea of owning a house is bigger deal to you than the actual fact that you've kind of heard, buying a house is a good idea, which it is, by the way. But buying a house when you're broke will hurt you rather than help you.
Especially when your tenants are your friends and they live in the same house, that's a dangerous situation too. Because if it's your buddy, you go, dude, I can't pay you this month, man. I'll get you next month. I promise. And all of a sudden it turns into 3 months and he hasn't paid. And now you have to evict your friend. And so you've destroyed a relationship.
Yeah. And sometimes when you're particularly in your early 20s, your tenant's not only your friend, they're your drinking buddy.
That's
and
even more
you really
dangerous.
can't trade a case of Corona for rent. It won't work.
Have you tried?
So I might have known a guy one time that did something like that. So I don't know. It's possible. But it's a problem. So, I would get yourself on a much more solid ground financially so that the home becomes a blessing and doesn't pinch you, where you have very little money, very little income, and then the roommates don't pay. And like you said, then you've got to evict your friends or your drinking buddies or whatever, all this stuff. It's a problem. Jordan's in Traverse City, Michigan. Hey, Jordan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So, recently discovered you and your baby steps. Love it, and I'm completely on board with the baby steps. So, fast forward to my current situation. My family and I are relocating for my job, moving to a new city. We're going to buy a new house there. We are selling our current house, and we stand to walk away from that deal with about $100,000 cash that we're going to put towards the new house. haven't wiped out all of our debt yet. I have about $12,000 left on my truck that I could very easily pay off. And then our lease on another car is ending soon, and we either keep it or let it go. So I could very easily wipe out all of our debt. My question is how much of our savings do we use to put towards a down payment of our new house to keep our payment at 25% of our monthly income like you recommend on a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage?
So let me get this straight. You take this 100, you pay off all of your debt, plus set aside a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Whatever's left, you would use as a down payment.
$100,000 from the house would be completely used as a down payment. Currently, we have about $92,000 in savings.
Okay.
And another interesting fact is my wife is Canadian. She has $60,000 Canadian sitting there, which is about $44,000 US dollars, which would, after conversion, would be about $44,000. So okay. In total,
let's just be real clear.
Possibly $136,000.
Yeah, you're not doing the baby steps. You just got introduced to them, but you're not doing them yet. Because the baby steps would have entailed paying off all of your debt except your house as soon as you understood them, because you have the money to do that.
Correct.
So, I would take the 100 and I'd take the 100. You have 92 plus 100 plus 42, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, I mean, we're dealing with dadgum over $200,000 minus paying off your debt, minus an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and the rest is your down payment. And yes, you would buy a house then where the payment is no more than a fourth of your take-home pay. How expensive is the house you're selling?
We sold it for $215,000.
And where are you moving to?
A little town called Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh, fabulous. Great town. Very similar, maybe even cheaper housing prices than Traverse City. Agreed?
Yes, agreed. Much cheaper.
Yeah, Traverse City's got a bit of the resort pricing going on, and Sault Ste. probably doesn't have that trouble. Yeah, so you can buy more house and put down all you've got except the emergency fund and your debt-free cars now. So you either buy out the lease or sell the car and buy a car. You pay off the other car. You put an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months aside, and you've easily got 150 plus to put towards your house then. You almost are going to pay for it.
Correct.
You almost pay for it.
Yeah, because I need 150 to put towards the new house to keep that 15-year mortgage at 25% of my monthly income.
Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss something then, because the numbers are pretty obvious in front of me right now. 12 on a car plus a lease that's got to go away, and you got to buy a car. So I'm going to call that another $12,000, $13,000. That's $25,000, and you got cars. Okay, go buy a $15,000 car. Pay off your $12,000 car, turn in the lease. Okay? That puts us at $25,000. You with me?
Yes. Yeah.
12 and 13 is 25.
Well, I have $12,000 on my truck that I'm going to pay off.
That's what I said.
Like now, yep.
That's what I said. And that's the two number. That's the only debt you have other than your house. Did I get that right?
Correct.
Okay. And you've got 92 in the bank, and you've got 100 coming out of your house. That's 192. And we've got the Canadian 60 that turns into 40.
44, yes.
Okay. So all of those three numbers add up to over 200, minus 25 puts you at about 200, and minus your emergency fund, you don't have a $50,000 emergency fund. So 3 to 6 months of expenses. So you're putting down 150. And you're 100% debt-free with an emergency fund in place, other than your house. And if you buy a $200,000 house, let's get the thing paid off really, really fast. You're going to be in great shape, man.
The plan only works if you work it. And it's real simple, but it's hard because you have to decide. But it works, man.
Yeah, but the numbers are right
ironclad
there on that one. They're just right in front of you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. George Camel, Ramsey personality, and my co-host today. The phone number is 888-825-5225. We have announced today that George Camel now has his own YouTube channel. Check him out at George Camel with a K, George Kamel, not C. And you can find him at YouTube, and the snark will be delivered. The taking down of bad financial products and mythology will be delivered. And George is excellent at that, and we're excited that this is a new offering from the Ramsey Networks there on YouTube. George is also the co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour, which with Rachel Cruz, which is wildly popular. Congratulations, George.
Thank you. Big day. It's like, we delivered the baby, and here it is, and you don't want anyone to call your baby ugly.
This is true, but they will. Just be ready.
Oh, they are.
It's called YouTube comments.
We love it.
Hey, we're going to start this hour with Ashley in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I wanted to talk through an issue. My husband, he recently purchased, I guess it's been about a year, he purchased a $72,000 car. And we are not in a financial place to have been able to afford that car. He's currently the only one working. And as of now, I believe we still owe $62,000 on the car. And obviously that's not including interest. So our finances kind of look at the moment, he's paying $1,200 a month for the car, not including insurance. I know. And then for rent, we pay about $1,500. So there's been like a very big struggle, obviously, between trying to keep up with that and then saving and trying to just kind of invest in our future. So obviously a horrible, horrible decision, but I'm hoping there's a way that we can kind of get back from this.
Did he do this without telling you?
We actually just got married last year, and I believe it's kind of a terrible story. I'm not even going to say it's a funny story. It's not. He had a car that he just completely paid off. So he had that car, perfectly good condition, and then he decided he wanted to get an SUV, which he purchased for about $32,000, I think. And then the dealership emailed him saying, hey, we have a great deal for you. You can bring that new car and trade it in and upgrade to this electric car that he's been wanting. So he briefly mentioned that to me. And from what he told me, it sounded like it was kind of going to be an equal trade. Maybe he'd be paying a little bit more. That's what it sounded like to me. So he went, did that, took care of it. And then it wasn't until a few months ago that I fully understand like the gravity of what had actually happened.
But all of that occurred before you were married.
It like during the time, like before.
No, I mean, he did not do this while you were at the altar, so there is no during.
Yeah.
It was before or after you were married.
You were legally married, and then he did this.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, of course, when I questioned him about, like, what was possibly going through his mind, he honestly didn't really have an explanation and just said it was an extremely stupid decision that he just couldn't take back. And
now we found something we agree on. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Why can't he just go sell this car today? What do you mean you can't take it back?
So the reason why he's not able to sell it is because the highest amount he's even getting for this car now is $40,000. And we still owe like $65,000 or $63,000 on the car.
Who said?
He's talked to a few dealerships about this.
Yeah, he's not good at this.
Yeah.
We're talking private party here. Of course, if you go to a dealership, they're going to give you bottom dollar.
Who's the maker?
Kia.
It's an electric Kia.
$72,000
for a Kia?
Yeah, I know. Not
okay, he paid $72,000 for it when?
This was in April of 2022.
And you're
A year
telling
ago.
me
1
1
year
year,
ago. And it dropped in half.
$32,000 drop?
I know.
No, I'm not buying it.
He's justifying why he should keep
look it
this
up
car.
while I talk, okay? Because I think I'm calling BS. This is a guy who don't want to sell the car. And he's trying to make this deal out worse than it is. But let's just pretend it's 50 and not 40, which it could be.
Okay.
All right, we still got a $12,000 hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what does he make?
About 90.
Okay. And do you have any other debt?
No major debts, just a couple smaller debts on credit cards under $2,000.
Okay, that's your only debt other than your home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you own a home?
No, we don't.
No,
We're renting.
Good. Okay, so he makes 90. He owes 65 on a car. There's 62 on a car. And let's pretend you could sell it for 50. Okay? It's a Kia what? What car?
EV6.
A what?
EV6.
EV6.
They're
okay.
running from as low as 46, but it quickly goes up to 50 plus. So you could definitely sell this thing for 50 plus.
So I think your husband called the same dealer that screwed him the first time and asked them what did they give him for it, and they thought, oh, we're going to get this guy
For
again.
a third time, we're going to screw this guy over.
Yeah. So 40 is below wholesale. So if you put the thing on the market on trader.com or such, something like that, and sold it yourself, the market value private sale is in the 50s, like I suspected. Okay, because the numbers you were giving us were just unbelievable that the car would, even a Kia would lose that much in 1 year. It's just unbelievable. So, all right, so he's not good at this or he doesn't want to sell it, one of the two, or both. So we're going to sell it for 50 and we're going to borrow 12 to cover the difference from your local bank or your credit union. And you probably need to borrow about, do you have any money?
Not much saved up, no.
What's not much?
Like $4,000 to $5,000.
Good. Okay. So I would borrow 10 and buy a $5,000 car, and borrow 10 and be $10,000 in debt, and we'll call that debt stupid tax.
Yeah.
Which is what I have to pay when I do something stupid. Okay. And you guys have a rule from this point forward in your marriage. We do not make financial decisions without both of us being involved and being in agreement.
Oh, yeah, I made that very, very clear.
No, you didn't, because he did this after you were married.
I know. Well,
So-
now I made it very, very
Ashley,
clear.
from today forward, you are involved with the money in this marriage that you were a part of. There's no more, I didn't know.
And he is too. You know, so both of you have a vote, and both of you decide. But what I would do is I would borrow $10,000. I would buy a $5,000 car for cash, and I would sell this car. And then I would pay off the $10,000 with your 90 income and no payments. If no payments, but the $10,000 and your couple of low credit cards that you need to cut up today. And we're going to help you because you guys are getting started on a rough foot here, on a sore foot from kicking each other. And we're going to put you into Financial Peace University. I'll pay for it if you will both promise to go when you talk to Austin. You're on hold with him right now. We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Hey, listen up, everybody. Our Smart Conference weekend is here in Nashville. It's happening this weekend. Tickets have been going fast, and there's just a couple, like 15 or 20 left, and you can get yours today. Join me and all the Ramsey personalities, Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, George Camel, and Jade Washaw, April 14th and 15th, Friday and Saturday, Friday evening and all day Saturday, to help us make Ramsey history with this first ever event in the brand new Ramsey Event Center. You're going to leave energized, equipped, and smarter in every area of your life, like money, career, relationships, mental health, all of that. And since it's the first time in the new event center, you're going to get the commemorative badge with your ticket. Plus, you'll have a chance to meet us all, the Ramsey personalities. And on top of that, I hear there might even be some music. This is Nashville, after all.
Dave's going to pull the guitar out, finally.
No.
America's been waiting.
Nope, I'm in talk radio for a reason. I play the radio.
But
That's
you've
all I
got
play.
talented friends.
I have lots of talented friends, and I know my lane.
He knows a guy.
So there you go. Hey, tickets start at only $119. They literally, I think there's 17 or 18 tickets left. So thanks for coming, everybody. We're excited for this. Also, since it is basically a sellout, let's talk about this. This is important. We're going to do a live stream, George.
A free live stream for those of you that can't be there in person. We're going to be broadcasting all of the money talks from the morning, including Dave Ramsey, Rachel Cruz, myself. You're going to hear from all three of us for free. That's incredible.
Saturday morning, the first three talks at the day-long. You're going to miss the Friday night event, but you can. We're going to stream the morning. Oh, and we're charging a lot.
It's a full 2 days.
I mean, we're
That's
charging
legit.
a lot for this live stream in the morning.
Oh.
It's completely
That one,
would be free.
it's got zeros on the end. 0.0000.
Zero. Yeah, lots of zeros. It's not going. We're going to charge. It's free live stream. The first three talks in the morning from Smart Conference from the brand new Ramsey Event Center. You can tune in, get a feel for everything that's going on, and it'll help you get a little FOMO, and you won't want to miss the next one that way, right? And but hey, sign up for free because we mentioned it's free. George's Talk, Rachel's Talk, my talk on this coming Saturday morning live. That's why they call it a live stream. Be the only time it's available, by the way. RamseySolutions.com/live. And you can sign up for free for the free live stream. Margaret's in Huntsville. Hey, Margaret, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Thanks for having me. How are you today?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
So I'm calling because I am new to health insurance, as in newer to being on my own plan. I had to have some unexpected expenses come up in the past few months. And in October, I had to have a CT scan. And then in December, I ended up having to have a surgery to remove what they found from that CT scan.
Wow.
And my question for you today is there, and by the way, I'm 100% healthy now. I'm very blessed and fortunate.
Good.
My question for you is that I just got off the phone with my healthcare provider and was finding out that I owe about $4,500 from the CT scan and the surgery combined, and that's after the 80-20 split. And I thought the 80-20 split would be applied afterwards because with my surgery, I hit the deductible for the year. So my question to you guys is, how do you recommend I find a way to pay for this, like by negotiating maybe to get a lower rate? I believe I've heard before maybe you can offer to pay in cash and negotiate, but I just didn't know what to do, so I thought I would call you guys.
So this was a $50,000 surgery.
Yes, sir. It was $51,000.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're okay. That's a scary
Thank
thing
you.
to go
Me
through.
too.
And it sounds like you've got reasonably good insurance in place with a deductible plus an 80-20. So the 45, you had already met the deductible before this happens with other things?
No, sir. So my plan starts on October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this stuff started happening. So from what I understand, by the time the plan was contracted, the difference was $6,000, and then they had to apply the $3,800 deductible that I had not met yet. And then when they subtracted the $6,000 from the $3,800, they got what the plan paid. So then they did 20% of that and added it to the deductible I had not paid yet, and that's how I got to $4,300. And then that additional money to get to the $45,000 was the cost of the CT scan that I had before.
Okay, so your total bills right now that you have to pay is $4,500.
Yes, and then I already had some stuff this year, and it was a $500 deductible to the secondary. So in total, from the past few months, $5,075.57.
But you've already paid that, or you still have $5,000 outstanding?
I paid $200 of it earlier today, so we're just right under the $5,000 mark, I guess.
Gotcha. What do you make?
The $4,500 or the $4,300 rather is what I'm more concerned about. I'm sorry. What did you say?
What do you make?
I make a little over $60,000.
Good. And how much money? How much money do you have?
$10,000 emergency fund.
How much?
A $10,000 emergency fund.
Okay.
And so I follow you religiously as much as I can. So I'm very blessed. I have enough cash to be able to pay this in full, but I just wanted to find a way maybe I could negotiate it a little bit lower, and I just really don't know how.
Yeah. I would just call them and say, how old are you?
I'm about to be 28.
Okay. Are you single?
I'm recently married.
Okay. I'm a 28-year-old newlywed. I've never been in this situation before. And this is you calling and talking to them, okay? And this is all really scary for me. If I pay you cash, how much of a discount can you give me if I pay it right now?
Okay.
And whatever they say, ask them to send an email verifying that amount, and then send them the money that day. And put it behind you. If it's full price,
like a wire transfer.
That's fine. It doesn't matter if you have it even out of your checking account. It's not adversarial.
Bring a check to the billing department, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
Okay, and then the other thing was someone told me to make sure it didn't mess up the credit bureau.
It won't.
Is that a thing?
No, not if they decide to accept less, because they haven't turned it over to a collections yet. If you settle it, if you call them up and say, I owe you, a particular vendor, okay, let's say you owe them $2,000. I owe you $2,000. What will you accept? And they say $1,500. You say, okay, thank you so much. I'll send it to you today. But I need an email verifying that is paid in full, and then I'll send it to you today. And then they can have the billing send that right out to you, and then you can pay it right then. And there will be no collections. There will be no dings on your credit, because there's no reason for them to turn it into credit. They just negotiated the bill. It's a negotiated price. Just like if you go in the dress store and the dress is on sale for $200 and you say, would you take less? And they say, yes, $150. They don't turn that in on your credit.
Yes, sir.
It's the same thing.
Have you asked for an itemized bill?
Yes, and I have it.
Okay, and the amount matched up. But I just want you to verify, because sometimes they'll throw things in there. When you ask for an itemized bill, they go, oh, maybe we should take off that Advil we charged $75 for. And so you can get a discount that way just by getting them to own up and go, let's actually show them what we charged. But if you got the itemized bill and it's $4,500, I think the cash offer is the way to go.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting a big discount, by the way, in this situation.
What would you think it could be?
I have no idea, but I mean, if they knock off 10 or 20%, I think you had a good day.
Yes, sir, I would agree.
And either way, just
Can I
pay
ask
it.
One more question?
Sure.
Yes, I'll pay it. So my husband's insurance, we're trying to figure out if we should just stay separate or just pay the extra to go on his. The way his plan is that if the spouse has an insured portion from their work, they'd have to add $100 a month.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting yours for free, no, I wouldn't. Unless it's far superior coverage. I'd have to look at the coverage, but I doubt it. If there's similar coverages, I wouldn't I wouldn't pay extra to be on his plan when you got yours for free.
There's no benefit there.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones this hour at 888-825-5225. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Jason and Jody are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. How are you, Dave?
Better than we deserve. Where do you guys live?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, welcome to Nashville. Good to have you. All right, and how much debt have you guys paid off?
A total of $365,000.
Wow. How long did this take?
About 7 years and 10 months.
All right, and your range of income during that 7 years and 10 months?
So we started out at about 80, a little under 80, and we're now about 175.
Excellent. What do you guys do for a living?
So I am a wireless communications engineer, and
I do adoptions from foster care.
Excellent. Wow, very cool. Okay, $365,000 was what kind of debt?
So $86,000 was consumer, and the rest of it was actually the house.
You paid off your house! Woo! Looking at weird people! Way to go, you guys. What's this house worth?
So right now it's close to about $400,000.
Way to go. Very cool. And how much do you guys have in your retirement accounts?
Probably about 160 between the two of us.
Way to go. You're heading towards millionaire. Halfway there. Way to go. Congratulations. How's it feel to have your house paid off?
Wonderful.
It's amazing. It's just, there's so much you can do now. We can do now without a payment.
Amen. Amen. So what started you on this journey 7 years and 10 months ago?
It actually started earlier than that. My sister, she's 7 years older than me, and I had just graduated college and was unemployed looking for a job. And I was babysitting her twin boys, my nephews, and she had your book on her coffee table, wasn't using it. So I read it, and I thought, well, I mean, I don't have any money coming in, so I, of course, made every excuse and put it back down. And then we had our first son, and both of us were kind of like, we need to do something to change this. And a couple of my friends at work were also doing Financial Peace University at their church, and so that's how we got connected.
Ah, okay. So you went to Financial Peace.
We didn't actually go through. I just listened to your podcast all the way through. I still listen to it. When we were in here, it was the Baker Street was playing, and my son, is that why we're here?
Wow, he made the connection.
This is why we listen to this every day.
He's been hearing that since before he was born.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. Very cool. All right, so Jason, how'd she get you fired up about this?
I kind of just followed along, and I saw things, snowballing, and I said, man, this is really working. I think I'll jump on board too.
Yeah.
The engineer mindset. You're like, all right, this is a process. It works. I'm on board.
Yes, I have to see facts.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you. Me too. Well done, you guys. Well done. That's a long slog, but you got the house and everything done. 7 years. That's about the average. People paying off their house in about 7 years, yeah.
Wow. Did you pre-decide you were going to pay off the house at the end of the consumer debt? What made you just keep going?
We did. I mean, we just didn't like being in debt. And once you saw those numbers go down, it's like, we can do the rest of it. No problem.
Yeah, we can reach over and knock it out. Yeah, that's fun. Because you're definitely not normal anymore. I love it. So when someone says, how'd you get out of debt? How'd you pay off your house at this young age? What do you tell them?
Well, you tell them what everybody says, that, you have to be on the same page. You have to support everybody. But what really really got it going for us was that when I got that new job, we continued to live off of the original salaries that we were making, but that extra money all went to debt. And I tell you, it really got that snowball going really fast for us.
Yeah. Well,
live on less than you make. Avoid lifestyle creep. That's what they call it. You get a raise and you just spend it. You don't know where it went, but you guys went, no, we're going to keep living on less so we have more margin to pay off this debt.
That's it.
I had my grandparents lived in Central Florida for 60 years in the same house without any central air conditioning.
Whoa.
And I always reminded myself and Jason when we were going through things and we were trying to figure out if we should buy this or not, I was always deciphering want versus need. And so if my grandparents at 80 years old can stay in a house with no central air and heating
in Florida,
yeah, we can live without the air conditioning in our car right now.
Wow. And then you get there and now you can do anything you want to do.
Yep.
So what's your first big thing to do now that you don't owe a stinking dime in the world to anybody?
Well, we did a Disney trip with one of our close friends and her girls, and that was exciting.
And expensive.
Yes, it is. Disney's proud of their services.
And then being here, we took our first flight as a family of 5, which was a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so probably a good little Southwest jump from Jacksonville to Nashville.
You got
right?
it.
Yeah, done that one myself a time or two. Excellent.
So they went from Disneyland to Ramsey Solutions. Which one's better? I just don't know.
Which one's cheapest.
Kids can't decide. Yeah, this one's free.
Yeah, we're not going to charge you for the ride. I'm just saying. Yeah, and the cookies are free, so it's quite the opposite. It's a Disney inverse relationship.
Oh my gosh!
Way to go, you guys! So proud of you. Congratulations. Who was cheering you on from the outside?
So we had friends and
my mom, his parents, my sister, my really good friend Robin Staley, and her late husband Tim were big fans and went through this journey with us.
Yeah. Way to go. Very cool, you guys. Congratulations. Very cool. We've got a copy of the Baby Steps Millionaires book for you, the Total Money Makeover book and Financial Peace membership for you to either go through it now or give it to somebody now that you're here. Baby Steps Millionaires, definitely your next step in your situation. You're on your way. That's called the Live and Give bundle. The Live and Give box, and so we'll give that to you at the break here. And let's bring the guys up and introduce them with their names and ages.
So we got Vincent, we got Victor, and we got Henry. 3, almost 6, and 9.
All right, ready to go. Ready to go. Oh, look at those good guys. I'm telling you.
The matching blue polos.
Yeah.
Love it.
I didn't have anything to do with that, by the way.
Well, their family tree has been changed. Their lives have been changed, and they don't even completely understand what you two have done for them. But you're in really, really good shape. Congratulations. Well done. Jason and Jody, Henry, Victor, and Vincent, Jacksonville, Florida, 365, house and everything paid off, 7 years and 10 months, making 80 to 175. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Ready, guys?
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Well done, you guys. That's what it's about, just steadily plowing through right there. now a whole nother life completely changed. So, George, that means that we've now done 53 debt-free screams this year.
Wow.
Since the beginning of the year.
Time
for
flies.
A total of just under $10 million in debt paid off total. That's pretty incredible. So all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of incomes, all kinds of family situations. Everybody's doing it.
And you've done this for 30 years now. And the best part is, that's encouraging to me, is that anyone at any point can just decide. I mean, it's like a magic trick. That you can just wake up and go, I don't want to live with $360,000 worth of debt anymore. I want things to be different. And then you just slowly but surely follow a proven process and pay it off.
Yep. You get after it.
There's no magic to it.
You
There's
got
no
to get
secret
started.
sauce.
You got to get after it. You got to push it through. You can do this. And what we know is that we are positive because we personally witnessed people from every background, every income, every situation, every race, creed, and color have been able to do this stuff. And we're willing to help all of you. We want to help all of you because it's why we're here. It is so fun to sit here and hear your stories of winning with a whole new look on mental health, a whole new look on your career, a whole new look on your money. Man, it's a completely different situation than most people live. This is fun stuff. It's called The Ramsey Show. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today, announcing today that Ramsey Networks has launched a brand new YouTube show on the George Camel, with a K, George Camel, YouTube channel. You want to check it out. It's pretty incredible. Exposing the system that's designed to keep you broke. You're going to get into all of it, aren't you, George?
Everything you can imagine, all of the traps, all of the trends. I'm going to break the complex down into simple, make the boring stuff fun, to hopefully give you guys some hope and tell you the truth about money and help you win.
Good stuff. Check it out. George Camel on YouTube. Brand new show dropped today. He's the co-host on the ever-popular Smart Money Happy Hour with Rachel Cruz as well. Hey, folks, if you're liking what you're hearing here, we appreciate you. We do not have a $300 million marketing budget or any football stadiums named after us, like SoFi. Nobody, and we actually help people as opposed to SoFi. Excuse me.
Get this guy some clarity.
Bad in Tennessee this year, but we actually just help people. And if you want to help us, since you're just kind of chiming in here for free, tell people about this show. Tell us where you're listening. Tell them, send a share off of the YouTube or a share off your podcast, or just tell people, I listen to it on such talk radio station or watch on TBN, whatever it is you're doing, to let people know that we're here. Share it. Number two, they should leave a 5-star review. The others aren't helpful.
No. And I don't understand why you would even take the time to go to a podcast review just to be like, just move on with your life.
If you paid for it and then it was a bad deal, I might.
That's one thing.
But, just move on. Anyway, Mama said if you ain't anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So 5-star review would be awesome. Share it would be awesome. Subscribe. Hit the follow button. Hit the subscribe button. All three of those things advance us forward in the algorithms that these different platforms use and cause people who don't know this show exists to know it exists. So you're very helpful when you do all three of those. Thank you very, very much. Anna is in Chicago. Hi, Anna. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my husband and I are kind of in a unique position. We've been married for a few years, and the only debt we had was student loans, which we were working really hard towards paying off. And then, with COVID, they end up getting deferred. But we still, took the same amount of money. We just put it into savings. And we...
Why don't you pay them off?
Well, I know that's kind of a touchy topic with you. Our mentality is he's been watching everything with the government. He's waiting to see if the 10 grand's forgiven.
How much do you owe?
His are around $80K, and mine are...
So what the hell's 10 grand got to do with it? You owe 80 grand.
Well, it could be 10 grand less that we give to them.
So pay them off.
All right.
How much have you got in the bank?
We did have about $90K, and so we had reached the amount that he had, and he's like, well.
So here's the thing, Anna. If you owe $80,000 that you signed up for, and you have $90,000 to pay it, you should pay it. You owe the money. I don't want to have to pay it for you. I'm a taxpayer that has to pay this because you're trying to play some freaking game with the government. You should just pay your bill. That's what you should do. All right, Stephen is with us. Stephen is in Washington, D.C. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
Hey, David. Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So wanted your input on a decision that my wife and I are trying to make right now, looking to decide between whether or not we should pay cash to build a small mother-in-law suite or take out a construction loan to build the primary residence on a 5-acre lot that we just purchased.
I'm confused. Where's the mother-in-law suite? On a house you currently own?
Suite. No, we're currently renting right now. We're looking to build
where would you add the mother-in-law suite? Where would you add the mother-in-law suite? To a rental?
We build the mother-in-law suite first and then build the main house as an addition down the road once we have some more money saved up.
Oh, it's not really for the mother-in-law.
Correct.
It's really for you.
So you're basically building a tiny house for now.
Yes.
Until you can afford the primary.
Yes.
How much money do you have?
So we'll have about $200,000 saved up by the end of the year, which is when we're looking to start construction. The mother-in-law suite that we're thinking about, we could build within that budget and pay cash for. The primary house that would be option B, we think would be around $700,000 to build. Ooh. So we'd do a construction loan to fund that.
What do you guys make a year? What's your household income?
We're around $215,000 a year.
Okay. Well, there's two answers to the equation, or two answers to the question. Around here, we don't yell at people for taking out a mortgage that is more than a fourth of your as long as the payment's no more than a fourth of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed rate. And this construction loan converted to a permanent mortgage after completion of construction would not violate that. So you'd be within the things that we suggest here, okay? The second answer to the equation is I don't borrow money. I pay cash for things, or I don't do them, period. And so that's always an option as well, which is the thing. So either way you go, you would be within the guidelines of what we suggest here. You're going to be easily within those guidelines. So how long have you been saving money?
About 5 or so years.
You've not been making this kind of money that long then?
No.
Okay. How long have you been making $250,000?
Combined, we recently got married, so within the past 6 months or so,
yeah, okay.
We've both been steadily increasing.
You know, what I would do is I would lay out the game plan that says if I build the whole house, how fast can I pay it off? Okay. So let's pretend that you put $200,000 down, and you got the paid for lot already, right?
Yes.
And you're making $250, and you borrow $750, and we agree we're going to put $150 a year on it, and so we're going to be done in like 5 years, or something like that. If you said that to each other, and you wanted to go ahead and build the house, say we're going to pay off the whole thing in 5 years and have a paid-for house that by then will probably be worth $1 million. Well, with a lot and all, it would be, for sure, with the 5 acres. It'd probably be worth that from day one. But or close. Anyway, all of that makes sense, but that's a way you could look at it and say, then what we're arguing about is not really whether we take out a construction loan and a permanent mortgage. What we're really arguing about is 5 years. How long we wait to be debt-free. Okay, we're arguing about, do we have the house for the 5 years and pay it off very aggressively, or do we save up very aggressively and build the house a little bit at a time with the mother-in-law suite strategy? Yeah, and you're basically pre-deciding before you ever jump into this purchase what's going to happen, instead of hoping that you can make the numbers work. That's always a bad plan. So if you walk into this with patience and you realize, I don't need the mother-in-law suite, let's just do the primary residence, but we wait a year, that might be the other option. Yep. So all of these, in other words, fall within the smart column. None of these are in the dumb column. None of these are you're being ridiculous or anything like that. The key is to keep on living like you were making the money you were making before. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, just kind of keep your lifestyle down, and you can chunk this thing away real fast, which sets you up to be sitting in $1 million property with $1 million net worth at a very young age, making $250,000 a year. You're going to be so wealthy, it'll be unbelievable with no house payment. That's going to be a pretty cool place to be. So regardless of which way you get there, that should be where you are within 5 years or so. Really cool. Well done. Very well done, Stephen. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. George Camel, the co-host of Smart Money Happy Hour with Rachel Cruz, is my co-host today. And announcing this week a brand new YouTube show, The George Camel Show, on YouTube, produced, of course, here by Ramsey Networks. Joe, exciting week for you. We got an incredible team that produced this. Yeah. I'll take Joe Camel. It's a different spin. But this is big. I've done a lot of things with the Ramsey Network, with Borrowed Future, Fine Print, Ramsey Show, Smart Money Happy Hour. But this one is truly me, just the purest form. In all the snark, all the pop culture, all of the deep dives, all of the nerdery. And I really just want to help people understand the truth about money and how to actually win, because there's a lot of myths and a lot of hope stealers out there telling you the wrong ways to do it. And so I just want to swim upstream and try to help people do it the right way, because that's what happened for me. I went from negative net worth to millionaire by following a proven plan. If you listen to the show, you know the plan. And I just want to show people it still works today, even in this economy. Stacy's in Shreveport, Louisiana. Hi, Stacy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call. I'm a little nervous.
No problem. Never lost a patient. How can we help?
Okay. It's just a question that my husband and I disagree on. He's had an American Express card since he was 18. He's 52 now.
That's precious.
And he says that he cannot shut that card down because if he does, it'll destroy his credit. And we don't use we don't use any card at all now. But he hasn't used that card for many, many, many years. But he still pays a $250 annual fee to keep the card. And right now, we're like turning no more credit cards anymore at all. I've convinced him. He was a credit card user. I'm not, and I'm saying that we shouldn't pay this annual fee. We just shouldn't have that credit card at all. And he just is in total disagreement because he says his credit will tank if we do that. So that's why I'm asking you. He
doesn't use the card.
He doesn't use the card. No. He had 3 other cards that he was using, but now we're not using it as of this weekend.
So you're not borrowing any money anywhere ever?
Oh, well, we have debt.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, we have debt.
Let me help you. An American Express card that you don't use does not affect your credit.
Okay.
It only affects your credit if you use it.
He says if he shuts that card down, like
He's
he
wrong.
doesn't pay this annual fee, it's going to tank his credit.
He's wrong.
Okay.
He's mathematically wrong. It's not a philosophy. Mechanically, the way the algorithm is used at FICO to create a credit score, it has to do with activity. If you have 0 activity on your accounts, you don't have a credit score.
Okay.
It's based on activity. And so it says, so if he puts it in the drawer and never gets it out and pays $250, it's not helping nor hurting his credit in not one iota. It just doesn't. It's not how it works.
I guess he said that since he's had it since he was 18.
It doesn't matter. Is it a pet or a card?
It's a pet at this point. I think it's a pet.
It's largely emotional. I remember getting rid of my blankie when I turned into an adult, and he needs to do the same. That's all this is.
Yeah.
It's just a blankie at this point, and it's special to him because it walk with him through all of the seasons of life. But it's not
was
helping.
the first person that told him he was an adult.
It was his first love.
Yeah. Well, and he thinks that all of our kids should get a credit card when they turn 18 to get their credit going.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because I think that's the core issue, not whether you keep a stupid American Express card for $250 and don't use it, which is irrelevant. But so the bottom line is he still believes that being in debt is the best way to live your life and to prosper.
He doesn't believe that now. I think he did. I mean,
okay, then no. Because there's no other reason. He needs to be confronted on this, because there's no other reason to build your credit. You don't need credit unless you're going to borrow money.
Yeah, and I think that we have a mortgage right now, and he works in Shreveport. We live about an hour and a half away, hour and 20 minutes away. So we rent an apartment in Shreveport as well. So we had talked about buying something like a little townhome there, because his kids live in Shreveport. So this is our second marriage.
Okay. So you'd have 2 mortgages?
So you would go...
We don't now. We're renting an apartment.
So we want to preserve our credit so that we can go into debt. And we want our kids to go into debt so that they can get into debt. Why? So they can build their score, so they can get into debt. Why would they build their score? Because we can build our score. And if we're in debt, we can build our score, and then we can go into debt. This whole FICO thing is a dog chasing its tail.
Okay.
It's designed for the banks, by the banks, to prosper only the banks.
Okay.
And so if you're not going to go into debt, if you're not going to teach your kids to go get a car loan, if you're not going to teach your kids that debt is a survival mechanism, because, see, your FICO score has 0 indication of your net worth. I can hand you $1 million today. It does not change your stupid credit score 1 iota.
Okay.
Your income could go to $1 million a year. It does not change your credit score. It is not an indicator of financial health. It's an indicator of how much you play kissy face with the bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
That's all it's for. Okay. So if they want to buy a house and they had 0 credit score, I think you did that, George.
You know what? It's the very first video that launched on my YouTube channel today, Stacy. You can't, that was not even a pitch, but it's right there. I bought a house with no credit score.
You got to go pull up George Camel on YouTube, and you and your husband watch it tonight.
Okay,
and then
so you don't
send
need
it to the
credit
kids.
to buy a house.
You don't need a credit score to buy a house.
Even if you're borrowing money?
Even if you're borrowing money.
It's called manual underwriting. I'll walk you through it in that video on the YouTube channel, but it's real simple, and I did it myself. Once you're out of debt, about 6 to 12 months later, the credit score disappears. You close all the accounts, and then you go through this process. You need a good down payment. You need to have your income. You need to have your W-2s, a little more paperwork, but it really didn't break my back, and I got a great interest rate because I had a good down payment on a 15-year fixed rate. I recommend your kids do the same if they want to build wealth.
Okay.
Or they could be 52 in debt hanging on to their blankie. It's up to them.
Yes, I know.
It's up to them.
Well, I mean, but he did ask somebody. I said, don't ask the bank, but ask some. And he asked a financial person at the place he works, at the car dealership he works at, and she said, do not get rid of it. I mean, she said your credit score will go way down. Don't do it. It's worth the 50 points on your credit score to pay $250 a year. And I totally disagreed. But I said, well, I'm going to ask Dave Ramsey. I'm going to call Dave Ramsey.
Do some of your own research. I mean, I can just tell you the algorithm on the way FICO works. We've been trashing FICO for years. They would have come back and haunted us by now if we weren't telling the truth.
The ghost
about
of FICO.
Yeah, it's don't worship at the altar of the great FICO. And a finance manager at a car dealership's just a dumb banker. I mean, that's all. They couldn't get a job at a bank.
Their incentive and motive is to get you into debt and keep you in debt. That's how they make their money.
All they do is deal with people in debt all day long. They just want you in debt.
They lost hope a long time ago.
All the time. And so, yeah, they worship at the altar of the FICO. So a 40-point move, a two-point move on a FICO scares them to death because they worship the great FICO. When you have a 0 FICO score and you pay cash, you don't worship there anymore. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. We're so glad you're here. When's the last time you were excited about a Monday? What if instead of waking up exhausted, you felt exhilarated? Can't wait to get to work. Another day to do what you love. In a world where bare minimum Monday has taken the place of quiet quitting, it's clear that people are craving work that matters, meaningful work. But finding the career you were born to do can be really hard if you don't have the right tools. That's why career and work expert Ramsey personality Ken Coleman created the Get Clear assessment. It's an incredible assessment. It'll help you discover your top talents, passions, a clear mission statement to help you find the work the world needs you to do. After taking the quick assessment, you'll get a custom report with everything you need to do to take the first step towards a meaningful career. I took this. It was pretty amazing how much it nailed me. I mean, it's really well done. It just completely read my mail. Yeah, it's not like I was looking for work, but it was just I took it to test it as
validation.
As the CEO of this place, and I went, oh, good assessment. Kind of figured things out. Yeah. Start your journey. Take the Get Clear assessment today. Go to RamseySolutions.com/getclear. You can get it in the store at Ramsey. Liz is with us in Anaheim, California. Hi, Liz. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi there. Can y'all hear me okay?
Absolutely. What's up?
All right. First off, super nervous, so sorry.
No trouble.
Really appreciate talking to you both. And I was in Jade's Zoom class.
Awesome.
For FPU.
Good.
And Mr. Ramsey, you helped bring me back to God. So
wow. Well, I'm honored.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to read my question because I'm so nervous. So I have about $17,000 in debt. About halfway through my debt snowball. It started last year. Let's see, my parents offered to pay my debt off, and then I would pay them back when I'm able to. Should I go ahead and take this offer? But my thing is my parents, we have a strained relationship. We butt heads a lot. They don't agree with the Ramsey plan, even though I've been following it, and they wouldn't have me continue to ties to my church if I were to kind of do this with them. So I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, you know exactly what to do. Don't you?
I think so.
Yeah, what should you do?
Just continue with what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And just tell them thank you, but I love you, but I got to do this on my own.
You're exactly right. You're a sweet girl. You are. You're a sweet lady. Thank you for having a good heart the way you do. You have reached a point in your life that you're now a grown-up.
Mm-hmm.
They're no longer your mommy and daddy.
Nope.
They're your parent. They're now your parents. My kids are grown like that too. They actually have opinions that I don't always agree with. Can you imagine that? And you know what? And you know what? I still love them, and they still love me, and they're allowed to do that and still be in the family and all that kind of stuff. I don't get to control how they handle their money, nor do I want to. I don't get to control whether they tithe at their church. I don't get to control their spiritual decisions. I would obviously have an opinion about all of it, but it doesn't matter. I got opinions about George too, but he gets to make his own decisions. He's an independent adult, and we're friends. We can have a good discussion. We can have an argument even, a fun argument. Sometimes we do that.
That's
George and I do, and Rachel and I do, my kid, everybody. That's all okay to do, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about control.
Yeah.
And I don't borrow money from family on principle. If they said they wanted to gift it, even with the strings attached, I wouldn't take it. And so it went from a bad idea to a terrible idea real quick. And the truth is, you don't need them. You're going to pay this off fast. You've been doing the hard work. It's giving you dignity to do the plan on your own without having to do this weird reverse allowance thing to your parents who you already have a strained relationship with. And it's only going to hurt the relationship if you take that money.
Yeah, it is. It's going to make it worse, not better. And they're trying to be nice, but they're trying to influence you to do what they want you to do rather than letting you be a grown-up. And that's a control function is what that is. And they mean well. I don't think they're bad people. I'm not saying that at all. But you can't let folks interrupt your spiritual walk, interrupt your financial decisions. You can learn and you can have discussions, but you can't let people have control over those things, regardless of what they do. So George is right. Even if it was a gift, if it had no tithing, and we're not going to do any financial plan you agree with, which happens to be ours in this case, then that's a control function, and that's what you've got to stay away from. So you already knew what you needed to do. But then say this out loud, Liz. Here's what's interesting. I can hear it in your voice. If you took this money, you would feel like you were 8 years old.
Oh, yeah. I still feel like that a lot anyway with them.
Yeah. And that they return you to your childhood. And so the reason I could hear it in the way they're trying to control and trying to lord over you. And I've had to learn that here at the office with my son working here and my daughter Rachel, obviously, on the air with me. I've had to learn if I'm going to argue with them, I cannot argue in my dad voice. I have to argue in my friend that is arguing voice. That's a different tone, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing demeaning in that tone. That's just like you and your buddy over coffee or a beer having an argument, right? And that's kind of a fun thing almost. It's a joyful kind. It's a conflict searching for truth. It's not a conflict searching for control. So, yeah, that 8-year-old thing tells you the truth right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and you're what, 25?
No, 32, turning 33 this month.
Are you single?
I'm single.
Okay. Have you ever been married?
No, my sister just got married actually a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, what I was probing at is if you had been through something that hurt, maybe, and that this was an open area in your emotions. I'm not Dr. John Deloney, believe me, but you just sound like a very kind, sweet person that is trying to find your own footing, and this is a really big step emotionally. Even if this made you $1 bazillion, and it doesn't, it's not worth the payoff.
No.
Yeah. So you're very kind, and I would just be that, Mom and Dad, I love you. Thank you so much. I think it's going to be good for me. I've decided it's good for me to work my way through this, and I'm going to do that. But I appreciate you cheering for me on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And just say that and just keep on trucking, kiddo. You're going to be out of debt in a year. You're amazing. You've already done a great job. How much has your life changed in 1 year? Wow.
You don't even know.
I can hear it.
I'm hoping to do my debt-free scream in the fall. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
All right, let's do it. We'll get it scheduled. I'll hold on and make sure you talk to Austin before you leave, so you can get to him and make sure you get your debt-free scream set up. And you remind us of this conversation when you're doing the scream, okay?
All right.
All right, kiddo. Way to go.
Wow.
Very cool.
I'm proud of her.
That's very neat.
It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Moms and dads, it's a very difficult thing. I think, George, it's the most difficult stage of parenting, having your children become adults. And I hate that phrase. I was writing it in a blog thing I was doing the other day about work. And adult children, I still don't know what to call my kids that are adults.
Because they're your kids.
They're not
adults.
kids. They're not children. They're adults. My offspring that are adults.
That made it worse
what do you call? Because adult children sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? And so you've got to, moms and dads, you got to, man.
Well, the goal.
And it's hard. It's hard to not just at Easter dinner not to go, that's a dumb butt thing I've ever heard in my life. But you just sit there and
adults.
Go, I wouldn't say that to one of my friends, and so I'm not going to say that to a grown offspring or whatever they are. I love it.
I think Meg Meeker said it. The goal is to raise adults, not kids.
Yeah, raise functioning adults, not functioning children. That's Andy Andrews, actually.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I knew it was one of your friends.
This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. John and Courtney are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great, and you?
Better than I deserve. Where do you guys live?
We live in Blairstown, New Jersey, which is about an hour northwest of Newark, New Jersey.
Okay, cool. Good to have you guys. Welcome to Tennessee. And here to do a debt-free scream, how much have you paid off?
$169,900.
I love it. How long did this take?
29 months.
Way to go. And your range of income during that time?
Approximately $160,000 to $190,000.
Wow, very nice incomes. What do you guys do for a living?
I am a speech-language pathologist.
Mm-hmm.
And I work in law enforcement.
Ah, very good. Very cool. What kind of debt was the 170?
There was some credit cards, a solar loan, a car, a truck, and student loans.
Y'all were normal.
Yep.
But you figured out normal sucks.
Yes.
All right. We're not normal anymore. You're weird now. Way to go. So what happened to you guys 29 months ago? What got you started on all this Ramsey stuff?
So we actually came down to Nashville in October of 2019, and I attended the Business Boutique Conference.
Oh, yeah.
And I took a picture with Christy Wright, posted it on Facebook, and one of John's coworkers, Darwin, actually reached out to us and said, "You're Dave people?"
You're Dave people.
And John's like, "Who's Dave?"
Who's Dave? I came to see Christy.
I asked him, who's Dave? And he went into that he's following your program. And then I think him and his wife actually came down in February of 2020. And he sent me a text message asking if he bought me a book, would I read it? And I asked him what book. And he said, The Total Money Makeover. And I said, sure, if you buy it, I'll read it. And February 2020,
Wow, what timing.
Yeah, we read the book, and then got all set for March of 2020 to start the snowball, and then the world shut down, and but we still managed to work through it, and here we are.
I don't guess it shut down in law enforcement.
No, it did not.
Did speech pathology shut down?
So I was out of work for a couple weeks. I have my own practice, so that was more by choice than by any sort of law or anything, and was doing a lot of telehealth.
Oh.
Okay, wow. Well, you got options when you're self-employed.
Yes.
You can, apparently we learned that you can just decide if you're essential. It was interesting. So, hey, way to go, you guys. So right in the middle of a dad blame pandemic, You decide you're going to get out of debt. So did you put it on hold or did you plow on?
We plowed on.
Once you got on the horse, you're going to ride, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Very cool. So did the pandemic work in your favor because of extra hours or hold you back because of reduced income?
I don't think it really did either, other than motivate us, seeing that what could happen and why we should have better handle on our money.
Yeah.
But I did take on an extra job during the pandemic and have kept going since. I teach graduate level students via Zoom in the evenings when our son is sleeping.
That's a great gig. Way to go. Hey, just for the listening audience, because a lot of folks that have graduate level degrees like you do can do that and make some good money. Do you mind telling people what you get paid for that?
I make about $35,000 a year doing that.
Wow.
And you teach one class a year or two?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Incredible.
When your kid's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice side hustle. Very nice side hustle.
You guys are incredible.
I thought that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
That's why I dug in. Yeah.
So you were throwing over like half your income at this debt. What kind of sacrifices were you guys making? How did you do this, especially living in a higher cost of living area where most people would say, you can't do this where I live?
I don't really feel like we felt like we sacrificed that much. I always thought we overspent, kind of generally speaking. But once we made the budget and focused, it was a lot easier.
We make great money. Let's just put it to use, paying off debt instead of getting more.
Exactly.
You don't realize how much nickel and diming you do when you're not focused on your budget. And when you actually bear down and focus on it, you realize, okay, well, I spent $10 here, $20 there, and it all adds up at the end of the month.
So the Total Money Makeover, you read that, and then you just, listened to the podcast and did this?
Yes, listened religiously. Even our son asked us one day that if he marries a girl who has student loans, he now will have debt, right?
Wow. That's incredible.
He's already picking out his spouse.
Sharp kid.
This is great. You need to find this out in the third grade. Do you have debt yet? No. Good stuff. Very, very cool. All right. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I feel like it's so cliche, but definitely the budget.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's also celebrating the wins. In the beginning with the smaller loans, like you see it a lot faster. You're paying off.
Mm-hmm.
And, you see the loans disappear off our spreadsheet. And then once they got a little bit bigger and it took, longer to pay a single debt off, once we got to the end of it, we kind of celebrated either with like a sushi lunch, as our son loves to have, or something like that, just to keep the motivation going.
Yeah, your son has good taste.
Wow.
That free girls and sushi.
Yeah, he definitely does have.
How old is he?
7.
He's 7.
He's going places.
He's going places. He's got a big future ahead of him. Very cool. So when you're reading through the Total Money Makeover or you're listening to the podcast, what was the primary thing that made you say, we've got to do this?
I feel like for a long time, I had suggested to John that we budget in some way, not specifically the snowball or anything like that, but he usually always found a reason why we needed to spend the different money that we spent. But once he read the book, he was very much on board. And I said, you understand what this means? We can't go on vacation. We have to sell everything that we don't use. He's like, yes, I understand. I'm like, okay.
Wow. So for you, what was the thing that turned you around on this?
I don't know. I just wanted to retire as a millionaire and not have to ever worry about money again. So.
Yeah.
Long-term vision.
Yeah.
You bought the belief that you really can live like no one else and later live and give like no one else.
Absolutely.
So you came to Nashville to celebrate. What else are you doing to celebrate?
We're doing a pool renovation right now. So hopefully when we get back, the contractor will be starting that the week or so.
Yeah, be ready by the time the weather's warm in Jersey.
Yes.
Very good. Very cool. Good for you guys. Very proud of y'all. Great work. Hey, we've got the Live and Give box for you. It's got the Total Money Makeover book in it, which you can give away. That's what got your journey started. And, of course, the Baby Steps Millionaires book, which is the next step in your journey, and the Financial Peace membership as well to go through Financial Peace University. Either use it or give it away. It's the Live and Give box. box. All right, let's bring this young genius up. You said he's 7 years old. What's his name?
Giovanni.
Giovanni. All right, very good. He loves sushi and debt-free girls.
This guy's crushing the game.
That's very good. He's killing it already. Good lineup. John and Courtney, $170,000 paid off in 29 months, making $160 to $190. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! I love it. That's how it's supposed to be done, George.
Incredible. And regardless of where people are at, because they may look at this amazing couple and go, well, Dave, I don't make $160,000, or I have more. There's always an excuse people have to not do the plan. And I love what John said, where he just went, I looked at the facts and I realized I need to be thinking longer than what's happening this weekend and think about what does the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years look like. And regardless of your income, you got to make a decision. You're going to be there 10 years from now. So where do you want to be?
Yep. You're going to do something. You're going to work for 10 years. Where are you going to end up? Because you're going to do the work. Yeah. You might as well get the prize. Run, as Paul says, run in such a way that you get the prize. You have to push on through and do this. It's the moral of the story on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, now I guess thousands of debt-free screams on YouTube, is you can do it. Yeah, talking to you. You're out there riding around your car right now. You're on the treadmill. You're going for a run. Talking to you. When are you going to decide to change your entire life and go through the process of starting with becoming debt-free so that you can build wealth, so that you can be outrageously generous? It puts you in a whole new place, boys and girls. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, James 5:13, is anyone among you in trouble? Let them pray. Is anyone happy? Let them sing songs of praise. Abraham Lincoln says, I have been driven many times to my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go.
He's got away with words.
That's fabulous. Oh, Taylor is with us in Auburn, Alabama. Hey, Taylor, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave and George, thank you for having me on.
Sure, what's up?
So my wife and I, for our first 9 years of marriage, got all the way to baby step 6, and change of jobs, stepped into ministry, 4 kids, and 10 years later, got $7,700 of credit card debt and then a $7,700 car payment as well. And just wanting to know what to attack first. Should I stop retirement to start paying these things off? Our budget is stretched, and it just seems like there's not a whole lot of options.
Yes, I would definitely pause investing. How much are you investing right now?
Right now, it's $350 a month.
That's $350 more to throw at the debt. How much other money do you have to throw extra on top of the minimum payments?
Probably, if we stopped we try to put $400 in savings every month too. If we stop that, we could stop that and throw that at it as well.
How much is in savings?
$8,000 right now. It's dwindled a lot.
$8,000?
Yeah, I wish it was a lot more.
Okay, I'm just making sure you didn't say 80. Okay. What's your household income, sir?
$130,000 combined. My wife is a teacher. I'm an executive director. Profit ministry.
Where's all your money going?
Well, a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old. We've got $225,000 left on a house, and we took a big step into building that house, purchased land and sold land, and it cost more to build than we anticipated. And so that's where a lot of the money went originally. And right now, just with 4 kids and life, we've really stopped eating out. We've cut as many expenses as we can. We've developed the budget, got the Every Dollar app, but it just doesn't seem life insurance policies, 4 kids in 4 different schools, activities, etc.
For private schools?
No, 4 public schools, but got kids that do show choir and band and trumpet rentals and uniforms, travel, etc.
Okay, I still hadn't found $130,000. So are you sure you and your wife are doing a written budget on every dollar and both of you are agreeing for where every dollar is going?
We started this month.
Okay.
Totally honest, I can tell you, over the last year and a half.
No, you haven't been.
There's been money going out the door in places that we're going, man, car expenses, getting the oil changed, 3 cars, one needs a new set of tires. I mean, there's just all kinds of.
Yeah, but the way you keep describing all of this, is not executing a budget. It all sounds like chaos.
Yes.
It's managing you. You're not managing it. That's the way your verbal pattern is coming off. Okay. So, yeah, I think you guys need to get on a really, really detailed, in-depth, with the television off and the kids in another room, detailed budget that you and your wife are really looking at and saying, this month, here's what's coming in. This month, here is what it's going to exactly. And I think there's more room in this budget than you've described. And you may have to cut back on some things that are kid projects. I don't know, but that's something you all will look at and decide. But you've got $1,000 a month. We know right there. And once you get the peace and the control that detailed budget will give you, you'll be able to release 7 of the 8,000 and start working the baby steps again. So stop all savings, stop all anything. You're right back at baby step 1. You need $1,000, and then everything else goes on your other stuff. So sounds like we're going to pay off one of these $7,700 debts. There's 2 debts that are $7,700.
Yeah, they're exactly the same amount right now. Obviously, the credit card's a much higher percentage. Would you start at that one and then move to the car payment?
Yeah, all things being equal, I'll choose the percentage, and it sounds like they're equal. One single credit card?
One single credit card, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think I'm getting rid of that and have $1,000 in the bank, and that's month 1. And then month 2 is we're aggressively attacking the car and getting rid of it. And then month 3 is we rebuild the emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's baby step 3. And you're going to be there by Christmas.
Okay.
That's where you should be mathematically. And I think you could be there sooner because I can't, make sure you haven't got a bunch of stuff coming out of your check at work. Are you getting a big tax refund?
No, paid federal $317 and got $2,000 back from state.
That's about right then. Okay. All right, good.
There's a lot of money leaks happening.
I would stop the over withholding on the state. If you have the ability to adjust the state without withholding, without adjusting the federal, I would. I don't know how your state functions on that, but I'd try to do that because you're obviously over withholding a couple $100 a month on state. And that right there's $1,000 we found between those 3 things to get started on this, which means in 7 months the other car's gone.
Oh yeah, and you freed up the credit card payment, so you're going to throw that on top of it.
That's true.
That's how the snowball rolls. So I think you can do this in 6 months easily.
Yeah, and the emergency fund too. I think there's more room than $1,000 in there that you should find. But you just start looking for nickels and dimes, and then when you get the emergency fund rebuilt, that's baby step 3. Then you're back to 4, 5, and 6. And 4 is you're putting 15% of your income into retirement. 5 is kids' college savings. If you're doing that, you need to stop it for a little while until you get this mess cleaned up. And what caused you guys to do this is you were not working a plan, not working a system, and everything happened to you instead of you happening to it. The house being overbuilt, the purchase decisions that you didn't have the money to buy, instead of saying no, you bought them anyway. And that's the stuff happening to you instead of you happening to it. Money is a wonderful slave, but it's a terrible master.
That'll preach.
Yep.
It's amazing what happens when you start paying attention and going, oh, we could do better there. We could do better there. We can cut that. Let's get rid of the whole life. Let's get term. And all of a sudden, you just find $1,000 in your budget.
Another 1,000.
Yeah.
There's probably 2,000 in
making
that
$130 grand. Yeah. I'd find another 1,000 if I were you.
Yeah, I think there's 24,000 a year out of 130 that you can get your hands on to clean this mess up and to rebuild right quickly to where by this time next year, you could be aggressively putting into kids' college if that's in place. Sounds like you got some teens. You got to get ready for that. And, you'll have your emergency fund in place and you'll have no payments but your house payment. And that house payment's not completely out of control with a $130,000 income. It's really not your problem. But this out of control thing is what your problem is. You've been tail spinning on the ice for a while. And you can hear it.
It's amazing to me that people make 6 figures and they're still living paycheck to paycheck. And the data is showing us this, that there's increasing numbers of people making 6 figures still struggling.
Vast majority of them. Over 80% do.
And everyone's blaming inflation and all these things, but really it's our out-of-control spending.
Yeah, he wasn't blaming anything. He was blaming himself, that's a healthy thing, not to shame yourself, but just to say, okay, recognize I'm the problem, and therefore I'm the solution. And our behaviors are the problem. Our chaos is the problem. So the solution is push the chaos out with systems and processes, very deliberate, hustle and grind, leaning in, very detailed. And that's how you work. You just work the process, just work the system, just work the system, just work the system. And then all of a sudden things start to come into control, and there's margin emotionally, there's margin relationally, there's margin spiritually, and there's margin mathematically. It all starts to come. But you have to impose your will on life, or it will impose its will on you.
That's one of the best days of your life, looking back, is when you realize, oh, I'm the problem. I can fix that.
Yep, it is. It's very, very empowering. It's not shaming at all. So good stuff, man. Thanks for calling in, Taylor. That's a really good question. Excellent, excellent, excellent. George Campbell, good show today. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there is ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's George Camel. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.